Good morning, and I'm back from a day of very intense alternative media saturation. As you know, last night we had a 2 hour plus kind of extravaganza over on the 11th house side of things. And before that, I did a show with Jimmy Brent, which is now live, and you can watch that over on Jimmy's channel. And I'll make sure to leave a link. I talk about some of the same things that I talked about with last night's show, but Jimmy actually has some things to offer and share as well. Very interesting guy, and I look forward to having him on my Friday show because he's got some amazing stories to tell. And like I said, he's been in the quote unquote truth game for a while now. So let's see what we got. We got people. We got one watching besides me. Okay. Well, let's see what happens. And I just keep getting cordoned off more and more here. Like I'm experiencing quarantine with my own content. That's what it feels like. Let me change the hookup. There we go. It's almost enough to have a show. Just about enough to have a show. I just put the link up over on Facebook. Yeah, on Mondays I'll try to get here at 8:45, but 9 at the latest, 8:45 every other day. So make sure that that base is covered. And let's see. Oh, look, I got a notification. I've notified myself. How about that? I got a notification for my own show. Isn't that encouraging? I think it's encouraging. Let's see. Well, slowly, two people. Maybe it's me and the guys in Langley right now watching. I'll just sit here for a bit. I'll hang out for a bit. I don't have anything else to do. Nothing else better to do. So my show from last night was kind of hard to get to. Imagine that. I was over on my YouTube page, and it's not even really up on my YouTube page. Let's try it again. Let's see what we got. My channel. And okay, now it's up. 521 views. 521. Well, hopefully that number will go up. Let's see. Let's go back to real time. Zero theoretical real time. It's just me. Oh, here we go. All right, the gang's all here. Carrie and Tamara, Jennifer, Christine. There's Joan, Sandra, 10 Dragon, my man Steve, Judy. Hi, Judy. Good to see you. JMP Love, Art with Joe. Not Joe with Art, but Art with Joe. Christine. Hi, Christine. Morning Langley. Bluebird. Hey, Bluebird. Mary. Hi, Mary. Nice to see you. There's Natasha and Sandra. Hey, cuz. What's up? Nice to see you. Leanne. Good morning. Good morning. So, interesting times in the United States of America. Interesting times in the world at large. And I'm probably going to go for about a half hour, 45 minutes today. Probably about 45 minutes because I wouldn't say I'm talked out, but there's always new information to be sharing with you. So some of you avid YouTubers or people that follow the alternative news streams on YouTube probably have come across the Derek Bros video, Global Witness, that they are now moving towards mandatory vaccinations in the state of Florida. This is in line with what's happening also in merry old England, jolly old England, where they are proposing bills that will be extreme, extreme. These are extreme measures that they're going to be instituting for people that have any symptom, any symptom, or even no symptom of all of being somebody who could be a carrier for the coronavirus. And the coronavirus is now going to be the thing that's going to apparently usher us into the global reset, right? Yeah, the global reset. Emily just texted me. I'm good, Emily. Just do my show. Let me text her back. Emily and I are going to do a MASH this week. We're going to have fun with that. It's always great to hang out with Emily, and because she always brings a really interesting perspective. I'm like, oh yeah, that is interesting. I hadn't thought about that. I like that. So we're going to get together this week, and we're going to do a show. And I know that you guys like it when Emily and I get together, and so do I. So there's some, there's this thing happening in Florida. People need to be cognizant and aware of kind of what's taking place now. The pieces are being put into place. Um, and between the time that I did my show yesterday with Jimmy and then yesterday's show, I did not watch the Trump presser. I watched it afterwards. And now everything's going to be theoretically back online on April 30th. I think that that is a recipe for disaster. That's the worst case. That's the worst news that could have come out of this. And of course, this is one of the things that Trump does, right? This is what he does. He gets up to an issue, he says he's going to do something, and then the other thing happens, or he'll walk it back. He's done this a lot. This is what he does. And then maybe he'll kind of go walk it back again from a different perspective, or maybe walk it back halfway. We've seen him do it with immigration and the border. We saw him do it with Syria. We saw him do it with Afghanistan, right? He'll throw the shit out there, he'll throw it against the wall, and then a couple of days later, he'll be saying something different. Well, the analogy that I used is, Trump is your father. And he says, oh, guess what? We're going to go to Disney World in 2 weeks. It's like, oh, yeah, great, great, great. So you're looking forward to going to Disney World. And then about a week away from Disney World, it's like, we can't really make it. We can't make it that day. So instead of this week, we're going to go 3 weeks from now. But it's okay. We're going to get there. Don't worry. And as the date gets closer and closer and closer, it's like, you know what? We're not going to go to Disney World. Like, yeah, it just can't happen. But I will take you down to the video arcade, and I'll give you guys like $20 in quarters. Yeah, I'll take you there. Don't worry about it. And so eventually you get to the video arcade, and maybe you get $10 in quarters, right? So it starts off as, oh wow, this is really, really great. We're going to go do this, and then it's delayed, and then you're going to the local video arcade with $10 in quarters and not 20. How do you feel about that, right? How does that work? How does that feel? Who knows? Trust the fucking plan. I'm sure you just trust the plan. It's okay. We got to go through 3 days of darkness, 10 days of darkness, 20 days of darkness. We got to go through a year of darkness. We have to be offline for an entire year because it's going to take that long to just give the planet a fucking enema. Okay. So just, cool your heels and be ready and be prepared and just don't question anything. Don't ever question anything. Trust the plan. So I think, and who knows? I'm a guy who is doing this video, out of his apartment. All right, like just about every other YouTuber. And if they were going to a studio, they're not going to a studio now, by and large. But I do have a pretty good track record, and I do have an innate ability to look at cycles and kind of understand things. And I was looking at a 2.5 week window. And if we were going to go past that 2.5 week window, then it's over. Like that's what I was talking about last night, the two models. There's a 2.5 week window model, and then there's the after model. And I guarantee you, once we get closer to April 30th, it'll be past that. It'll be like, now it's looking more like May. And then it's going to be, well, really, it feels like right around the end of June. June 30th. Because that's where and if we are in this Supermax prison by the time June 30th rolls, I mean, look, if we're here in this situation by the end of the month with that paradigm in place, and I'm not talking about creating a different paradigm, which I think is actually really what people should be thinking about. like thinking really hard about creating a different paradigm and not waiting on the so-called powers that be to, wave the flag, the new flag. Say, come on in, come on back. Get back out on the track. Your pit stop is over. Um, but if this thing goes in that direction until the end of April, it's like there's no. This is the point of no return. And I'd like to be wrong. I would really like to be wrong. And but I think that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're looking at. So just a few other interesting developments. Again, that stuff came through last night when between the two shows that I did, which are almost kind of like back to back in some ways. If you haven't seen the Jimmy show, Jimmy Brent's channel over on YouTube, he's got two of them, by the way. One of them is a music channel. He's quite talented. The guy's a really good guitar player and multi instrumentalist. So go check him out. The story that's really grabbed my attention landed on Gateway Pundit. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, hold on. Okay, I gotta go back now. In the year of the bat. In the year of the bat. Here it is. All right, let me. If you guys haven't seen this, well, I'd love for Trump, Mister Fake News, to have some commentary on this. Maybe somebody in the presser could bring this up. CBS News caught using footage from an Italian hospital to describe conditions in New York City. How about that? This is footage from Sky News on March 22nd from Italy. Here is footage from CBS News during their New York City report on March 25th. America's epicenter. New York now accounts for more than half of the U.S. cases. It's the same picture. Absolute same picture. And here's this clown, the reptilian in residence in the state of New York. And then here's the shocking epicenter of the COVID-19 crisis. Comments, please. What do we have? FCC, where are you? Pull their broadcast license already. Enough fake news. Don't hold your breath. The Communist Broadcast Service. The only part of this that is surprising is that anyone is surprised. CBS is more New York City media garbage. MSM is hashtag Team China. UK Guardian, Richard Wolff, certainly Wolff is not alone in applauding the spread of coronavirus in the US. Julia Laffey, currently with GQ, shared her America First joy with the world. This is the same Julia Laffey who in 2016 was fired from Politico for publishing a sexually obscene tweet about Ivanka Trump. What else do you expect? I'm shocked. I'm shocked. It's time to pull the plugs on national interest. Who's really putting out misinformation? Trump hashtag. This is nothing. Brian Williams over on NBC just announced he had personally resuscitated 3 patients suffering Wuhan fever, auto-transfusing other. Oh, that's funny. That's really good. In the Sky News version, the so-called source is also fake deep state propaganda. Sky News is famous for staging propaganda like this. They're a deep state agency running out of London. So who knows if this is even, let's play this. Who knows if this is even Italy? They could have their own set, their own players. Who knows? And why would they allow people in there with the video cams and the crew and the whole 9 yards, right? I mean, and I get it, I totally get it that it would be great if we had actual more footage, but hold on a second, gotta stop this thing. So that's a pretty interesting development. I don't think anybody is not surprised, but I would love to hear Trump talk about this and call this out. Public land excess shut down. Yep. My in-law sold it all, bought a travel trailer to travel the U.S. Good for them, squirrel. Hey, Michelle, what's going on? Good to see you. Lockdown continues. It won't be a baby boom. It'll be a divorce boom. I was listening to the local AM radio talk guys. This guy Trey Ware, who happens to be like a minister as well as a radio guy, was talking about how he and his wife are actually practicing social distancing in the home. Can you believe that? Social distancing in the home. Oh, I bet they're kicked to be around, huh? They're a lot of fun to be around. Social distancing in the home. It's nuts. Totally nuts. Ran across another interesting video last night that I wanted to bring to your attention. Now, I can't completely, well, it's not that I can't speak to the validity of it. I think the validity is actually quite real. Now, this goes back to September 2018. So we're going back a couple of years here. But what I want to show you is the levels of nitrogen dioxide that are happening around the planet. Keep an eye on where the highest levels of nitrogen dioxide are taking place. Check this out. So here's the map, right? I'm going to hit the simulation. It's 58 seconds long, and I'm going to blow it up here. Okay, so the high levels of NO2, right, is going to be here in the red. Check it out. That's China. Look at that. That's Europe. Look at that, East Coast of the United States. Look at this over here, the West Coast, California, right? Very high levels of nitrogen dioxide. Boom, boom, boom. Right there. Right there. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, one can make an interesting correlation over the fact that in the same areas where there's extremely high levels of nitrogen dioxide, those are the levels where theoretically the most cases of coronavirus are popping up. What are we talking about? We're talking about Europe, Italy, China, and now the East Coast of the United States. Again, if you're playing within the frame set of that narrative, right? So perhaps people are getting less oxygen as a result of that. And as we have less oxygen in our bodies, the anaerobic defense system that we have with oxygen gets depleted, which makes our bodies more susceptible to free radicals and all the other stuff in our system. So that's something that, again, you may want to file that away. That might be an important piece for you to factor in as to why people are actually theoretically coming down with this thing, that it is an environmentally triggered and charged event as well. So we could also take 5G and put 5G into the mix, and we could also put a lot of other things into the mix as well. And now we're dealing with, again, very compromised immune systems. And I think we've all had a version of Corona. We've all had a version of coronavirus. So when they come around to do the testing, let's say this version of coronavirus hangs around for a while and they do a test on you and you are tested positive for coronavirus, even though you have no symptoms, that can be really problematic. And that gets back to the information around Florida. Let me see if I can find that piece of info because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Let's see. Let me see if I can find this thing. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Well, we have the Denmark law enabling forced vaccinations for coronavirus. Let's see what else. Well, it's a video here. Let me just see if I can find the video. Hold on. Where was it? Where was it? Okay. Let me go back over here. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, I didn't have the link ready to go, but I'm going to track it down very quickly. Just so I can show you that there is that there's something in place here. Give me 1 second. Find this. Yeah, here we go. So this is emergency COVID procedures. Let's do this real fast. I'm trying to use a find function here. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. No, nothing there. All right, let's go back here. Still looking. Let me go back. I apologize. Usually I grab this stuff when I see it. Yeah, now this link has been taken away. Hold on. Let me go back over here. Let me try to find this thing through YouTube. It also coincides with this one guy's vision about the four corners. And I'm not being the advocate for the four corners piece per se. I mean, that's up to you, right? That's totally up to you. But here's what I want to show you. This is what came through on the video. Just line it up. There it is. All right. Let me do a screen share on this because I found it. I just don't want to put something out that I don't have any sound basis for. because that's not how, let me go back here. That's not how the internet works, right? Theoretically, or the exchange of information works. Here we go. So this is, whoops, my bad. Here we go. So this is Laura E. Roth, clerk of the circuit court, Volusia County, Florida. Urgent update, courthouse closures and reduced services related to COVID-19. So let's play this.
Information can be found directly on clerk.org under their news section. Here, Laura E. Roth. And look at what they're saying here. It says court proceedings that will continue to be held are limited to those deemed mission critical as defined by the order. So according to this new order in the 7th Circuit, look at what they're going to be entertaining. Violations of quarantine or isolation orders. Violations of orders of limited travel. Violations of orders to close public or private buildings. Seizure of bodily fluids. Mandatory vaccination proceedings. The court will be enforcing mandatory vaccination proceedings. Of course, they also have enforcement of curfew orders and any other emergency proceedings or hearings as authorized by the chief judge. You can look this up for yourself. Again, this has been signed and enacted by the chief judge. I would encourage everybody to reach out and wake some people up at what's going on in Florida. And now they're going to be enforcing in the courts mandatory vaccinations.
So that's something to wrap your head around, especially if you are a resident of Florida and you have any desire to have sovereign reign over your body, which apparently nobody does anymore. Maybe never did in the first place. Theoretically, yes, but maybe not in the fine print of any kind of legal, quote unquote, legal definition based on some charter or some corporate charter that goes all the way back to the Dutch East India Trading Company and the Crown of England. So there you go. Now, it prompted me when I saw that to look at states that are not in lockdown. This is really it's something interesting because there are states that are not doing the same things as other states right now, but you won't hear about those states. All you'll hear about is California, Los Angeles, Washington, Oregon, New York, Florida, New Jersey, Connecticut, Delaware, even Georgia, but Kentucky. But there are states that are not doing the same thing as other states. And I checked into this. So apparently Alabama, now this could all change very quickly. Alabama, Mississippi, Oklahoma, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and even Kansas. These are states that do not have the shelter in place commandment that has come down from the mountain. Okay. So there are actually states that are continuing to do business, have businesses open. And yeah, you can even eat in restaurants in some of these states, but nobody's talking about that. Nobody's covering that in the news. All we hear about are the states that are on some form of lockdown and how absolutely terrible it is and is going to be there. So you could look it up for yourself. I went through a list of the states. And again, this stuff it's a fast moving river, so it could change in the next 24, 48, 72 hours. But there are definitely places you can go, and it's going to be like pre-3/11 in those states. That means that people are working in those states. That's kind of an interesting concept, isn't it? But I looked at those states. I mean, no offense to anybody who lives there, but those are not like the most popular travel states. Like, people don't go away to Mississippi to vacation unless they go on to the sort of the Gulf area, Biloxi, that area, in which case, hey, maybe you could go there. Maybe we could all meet in Mississippi. Not a lot of people go to Alabama to vacation. It's not a huge tourist destination. And there's nothing wrong with Alabama. I'm just saying that if you wanted to go somewhere, like you could still probably go to these places. You could probably go have a real kind of, pre 311 experience. But we're not seeing that. We're not hearing about that on the news. That's not what they're promoting. They're not talking to governors or people in these states that are kind of like business as usual. Although I take that back now. I do have, maybe Kansas has changed. It might have changed because I've got a reading set up this week with a family that I think is quarantined in place now, not because they have any symptoms. So again, it's a fast moving river. Anyway, look it up. You can do your own search, states that are not on lockdown, and they're there. They are there. You can actually move about and go out and socialize. The socialization piece, physical activity, being out in the open, sharing things with other people are an essential part of our human experience. And everything is being very rapidly, not slowly, very rapidly stripped away from us. And last night on Facebook, I put up a post about what's going on with things like, give me 1 second here so I can find it. Here it is, right here. Let me pull this up. I'm going to show you the story. I actually found this on CBS Sports. And when you see some of these images, they're absolutely chilling for me because I grew up as a kid outside most of the time. I was always playing sports. I was always at somebody's house playing basketball in their driveway, or was down in the school playing basketball, or playing football, or playing baseball, or playing soccer. My life revolved around outdoor activities and sports, or we'd go hiking every now and then up in the hills that were behind my house. I mean, it was always that kind of world and those kinds of adventures. And this absolutely breaks my heart when I see this. Let me share this. When you guys are on Facebook, you know what I'm going to share because I put it up there yesterday. Check this out. Basketball rims removed, skate parks shut down. In more ways, cities are trying to enforce social distancing. Sports leagues around the globe have taken measures to combat the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, including season suspensions, postponements, and even cancellations at some events. Now, to help contain the COVID-19 outbreak, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has encouraged Americans to practice social distancing with the goal of helping to slow down the outbreak. Social distancing is deliberately increasing the physical space between people as well as avoiding large gatherings or group outings. Remember, this is Saturn in Aquarius. But with so many adults and children cooped up in their homes during this time, many have taken to their respective recreational centers for fresh air and physical activity. But the problem arises when people meet at these spots and gather in large groups. So now cities around the country are deciding to take further preventative measures. In New York City, government officials have decided to remove over 1,700 basketball rims amid the spread of COVID-19. Legendary basketball courts such as McCarran Park in Brooklyn and Rucker Park in Harlem are now without basketball hoops. Oh, I'm sure that's going to go over real well in those neighborhoods. Real well. By the way, I'll talk about this later. According to ABC, cities like Baltimore, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Memphis, and others have also decided to do the same. Take a look at this hoop in Chicago. My friend and UIC great Kenny Williams just posted this picture on his Facebook page. Playground rims are getting this treatment. Look at this. Would you look at this shit? It's like they've actually manufactured these rim locks. They've actually manufactured these things. They put these things together. How long do you think people are going to stand for this? How long do you think it's going to be before people hack these things? How long do you think it's going to be for people actually go and actually buy basketball rims and go up on to these backboards and install them themselves. How long? Look at this kid. Here's a skate park, Long Beach. Let's just dump a bunch of dirt in there. Oh, yeah, that'll take care of that. 3,047, 447 people talking about this. Catherine Aquavella. Another aspect or another promotion of demoralization. Right? It's another promotion of demoralization. Demoralizing people. Just stay in your fucking house. You know, your house, if you haven't figured it out, your house is become a Supermax prison. And they're turning the planet into a prison planet. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we are on lockdown. We're on planetary lockdown. Like I said, there are some places inside the states that are not. So I don't want to be so hyperbolic as to not like put that into the mix. But this is kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. They've turned the planet into a supermax prison, and your yard privileges are being taken away from you, because that's what happens in a prison, right? You get your yard privilege. Sorry, inmates, you can't play basketball now. Sorry, inmates, you can't be skateboarding now. You can't go to the skate park. So what do people do? Well, people are going to, walk with their tails between their legs and go back home and get more depressed, more sullen. The human race is an infinitely inventive species. And I guarantee you, humans will reinvent contact. Humans will reinvent how to be able to recreate and get some joy out of life. That's who we are. It's who we are. And I can even imagine now that there are going to be things like, these underground parties where people break the 6 foot rule and they actually touch each other and hold each other. I mean, does this feel like a lot like 1984 too, when people really weren't allowed to love or touch or experience or have fun? Right? Am I right? I think I'm right. That if you were going to have um, a love affair or a tryst or a liaison, you had to do it outside of the eyes of all the prying cameras in the surveillance states in order to make that happen. Yeah. We're being socially engineered. And a lot of this is going to depend upon how you as an individual respond to that. Now, I'm not advocating you go out and break any laws. Trust me. That's not what I'm doing. But I am advocating that you have a creative response to life, whatever that is for you. We had Jennifer Rubin on the show last night, and Jennifer has decided that she's going to basically really take this lockdown very, very seriously. And as a result of that, she came up with a movie. That's a creative response to life. No matter where you are, no matter what the conditions are, you have you have the ability to have a creative response to life. And that's the thing that I'm definitely preaching and have been preaching for quite a while with this stuff. And don't let it get you down. Do not let that stuff get you down, because there's going to be a day, and our sun will shine again. It will definitely shine again. And so hang in there, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, breathe, treat people well. Treat people well. When somebody asks you, how are you doing now? I say, I'm great. I'm great. I I had to condition myself to get to that response, but it's actually quite helpful. I'm great. How are you? I'm great. How are you? Oh, I'm good. Great. Because the more that we send that signal out into the world, the more that people can actually begin to take it into their own life, right? So we have to create a network of positive, real positive output, and treating each other well, treating each other with, care and tenderness, and, not ripping each other to shreds. These are really important things. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not aware of what's going on. You're not burying your head in the sand, but you're choosing to have a creative response to the external conditions in one's life. Okay, let me check in with you guys in Chatlandia. What's going on in there? Let's see. Still think this is a test run. You could be, Christine. And if it's a test run, it's a pretty intense test run. The park trails are open. In some places, Sandra, in some places they're not. And certainly the beaches are not. The beaches are closed down. But yes, if the parks are open, you should go out and hang out there. Definitely. In Panama, you can be in public 1 hour a day and walk your dog only once a day. Wow. Yeah, Kevin says not in Florida. City park. Well, city parks are okay. Let's see how long that goes. And I'm not clearly because I'm definitely not arguing with you. I'm just saying that there are a number of parks that have been shut down. So if you have a park in your area that's open, that's a blessing, and you should go hang out there. Definitely hang out there. Okay, I think I'm finished for today. Because I could probably dig more stuff up and talk for a couple more hours, but I actually have clients today, and I have a lot of clients to get back to for people who have actually ordered readings. So I'm gonna have some breakfast. I'm gonna spend the rest of my morning actually doing that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody, again for supporting the show. Thank you for participating, adding your energy to this mix. And I have great news. I had a great conversation with somebody who watches the show recently. Saw me about a year ago, I think, with Jay and Groovy Bean talking about Tartaria and the reset, and I think I was talking about that pretty much. I think, yeah, I think I've done three. I've done three shows with Jay, and I talked about the Tartaria stuff then. And when Jay and I did another show together. By the way, you should subscribe to Reality Check, Jay's channel. It's a good one. And so she reached out to me, and she's a webmaster and really good at what she does. And so she's going to help me reboot robertphoenix.com. And so I'm really looking forward to that because I've been wanting to, I did a kind of a redesign last year, and I tried to put some things together that allowed me to get as much of my content up there, but it's been a kind of a difficult web interface for me to manage in a lot of ways. So we're going to simplify that. We're going to have a new look and feel. I'm so looking forward to doing that. And uh, Alicia, I really appreciate your willingness to be a part of this. So thank you very much. And see, this is where it's at. We got to help each other out. We have to really help each other out because we've lost touch with our ability to do that. And not all of you have. I know a lot of you are connected and really help other people. So, but if the general scheme of things, then help if you can. Not if you can't, by the way. You got to help yourself first. You got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Then you can help other people. And this is what we've been talking about for a while to make sure your house is in order, make sure your body is good, make sure your health is good, make sure you have some resources. And then from that point, you can really be of assistance to other people. And, that's what I've been preaching now for like the last year and a half, almost 2 years. And here we are, we're at that moment. We reached the nexus point, and hopefully you guys have been with me on the journey because that's what my journey's been. And now we can actually begin to help one another. All right, so that's it. That's it. Oh, Lynn says, I know two people who were cited for being out, not during their hour. What happened to them? Did they put them? Did they put like a tracking boot on them? Wouldn't be surprised. All right, you know the drill. Use your head to discern what's real, your heart to stay up on what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. Have yourself a great day. I will be back tomorrow, 8:45 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's my time. You just be here. You just show up. You may or may not get the notification, but please bookmark the channel because that's going to be here, at least for now. And then make sure if you like the content, pass it along, share it with your friends, hit the thumbs up, and away we go. Let's keep it moving. Now, again, there may be 3 days of darkness. I could easily see that where they shut everything down. I wouldn't. I Not that I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I could certainly imagine that kind of a scenario. So, what do we have? We've got what's tomorrow? We got the 31st and then the first. The first, I think, is going to be a litmus day. So let's see if I'm actually here on April Fool's Day at 8:45 a.m. when I plug in my computer, and hopefully there will be connection and juice. If not, well, I'll see you guys on the flip side, whatever the flip side is. But steady as she goes. I'm Robert Phoenix, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.